What's happening, guys, and welcome to a little van tour around our home on wheels. We're currently traveling in Australia and we're in South Australia at the moment. Going to give you guys a brief overview of our van and a little show around the inside just so that you get a better idea of what we're traveling in and how we've set ourselves up. The van itself is a Mitsubishi Delica. It's a 1997 model. The Delica is a four-wheel drive van. Basically, you've got low range gearbox that you can use. It's totally capable. Makes loads of people think, how the hell did that get down the track when they see you coming and they're in their Land Cruiser? Anyway, working our way inside. Vicky's doing some bits and pieces on the outside at the moment. What are you doing, Vic?
Editing some photos.
Oh, loads of photos, always editing. So, inside the van, guys, we've got fly screens just here because Australia and flies, yep, you need that. And then on the inside, just to give you a sneaky peek around, this is the sort of setup that we've got. Now, the actual cupboards and everything like that, I'll go through for you. So this one here next to the door is a cupboard where we keep 22 litres of water, and that's fresh water that we can drink. We've got things like toilet rolls and stuff at the top just there. This is where the cooker sits. That's where the Omnia stove that Vicky uses for baking sits. And then on top of here, we usually have like spare kitchen roll or something like that. Oh, in the back down here, the gas line for the cooker. On the front of the door just here, we've got obviously kitchen roll. Vicky's got all of her spices across the top here. And then some more spices down here. And we use this little plug just here to plug this vent that's on the outside on the inside of the van. See down there in the corner, you can actually plug that. So when we're going off-roading, if it's going to be like a water crossing or something like that and we want to make sure that nothing's getting inside the van, we can just use that plug and yeah, pretty much job's a good one. Oh, the other thing that's inside this cupboard, which I completely neglected to mention, is we've got a tap up here that produces fresh water for us to drink. If I just flick the switch, just like that. I don't want to waste it, so that's all I'm going to show you. You've got a sponge in here that we use for doing the washing up. We usually do that at the back over there. And then the actual bowl itself does come out, so we can use it to do our teeth and stuff at night. And then we just pour it out basically in the morning, which is easy. I'm still getting attacked by flies inside here. And the pump and everything for that is just down in here. And you can see it runs down through to that 22-litre jerry can. Okay, so now we're inside the van, I can better point out to you guys where the cupboards are, what we keep in them, and basically how we access them. So this front cupboard that's just here is big drawer at the front here, and that's the one that I've just showed you guys as we were getting into the vehicle. And then we've got a cupboard in the middle just here. In fact, I'll move over here so I can show you. So we've got a cupboard in the middle just here. This one folds open like this, and then inside here, we usually keep at the front things like oil, pancake mix, I guess. So this comes out. On there we got the bread. Vicky's got some bits for baking, and again, canned things usually fit inside this little rack just here. And then there's a few more down the side just there. Once you've got all that back in there, underneath we've got pasta, rice, and that just fits in these tubs like this. Then next to this cupboard, we've got this cupboard just here. In this one here, at the top, we tend to keep things that are like more spices and stuff that can't go off basically. In the middle just here, again, things that can't really go off. We've got some cheeky biscuits in the back down here. And then noodles, you know, you never know when you might want to make nachos or something like that. Then in this one is kind of fresh produce, so we've got like potatoes, onions, that sort of thing sitting in there. And then the naughty drawer, which is basically just full of snacks, is this one here, which isn't a full-size drawer. It's only a half-size drawer because the wheel well, if I pull this one out, limited us from building any deeper into there. And then at the bottom down here, we've just got basically like extra cables. Vicky's got a little Instax thing down there so that we can print photos out and we can put them on the top, which is pretty cute. After this drawer, we've got this one over here, which is basically all of our cutlery, pots and pans. That's all basically living inside this drawer just here. And again, we've got the same hinges just here. which stop it from opening whilst we're driving. Above this cupboard, we've got this one, which is full of stuff for breakfast. We've got a little slider here that comes out, and that just holds that one up like that. And then in there, basically all your breakfast necessities, granola, cereal, cups of tea, we've got coffee in the back, we've got spare cereal at the top. It's all sitting in there, ready to go. And again, same clips for that one just there, and it literally just stops it opening when you're driving, which is fantastic. And the fridge comes out like that, and then you can access it and get everything you need to out of the fridge. Yeah, basically that's where the cold stuff lives. That one there, and then when you're done, you just slide it back in. Now our fridge isn't massive because there's only 2 of us in this van, and basically nobody needs to have an absolutely massive fridge when they're living on the road. Ours is a 35 litre fridge, I believe, made by Weco. It's actually quite an old model now, but it fit in that space absolutely perfectly. In fact, we've looked for newer fridges if we ever did decide to change this one, and we can't find another fridge that fits in that space. Not unless we go really small. Okay, so on the other side just here, we've got another cupboard, and this one is pretty much just for clothes storage. If I flip that one there down, Vicky's got her clothes in the bottom just here, and she's got some of her wash stuff up here. I've got my socks and boxes in this one just up here. So this is pretty much Vicky's clothes cupboard, and some of my socks and boxes are in it. Underneath it just here, we've got basically the access point for all of the electrics of the vehicle. So we've got the inverter just here, which we can turn on, which then powers up this panel. So we've got 3 universal plug sockets for basically any country's socket will fit in those. This one's just here at the top, just normal USB for charging things like your phone and stuff. And down here, obviously a voltage reader. Yes, it says 14.9 volts. That's because we've got a lithium battery, and lithium, when it's charging or like overcharging or whatever it does, whatever you want to call it, basically when it's doing that, it will go up to sometimes 15 volts sometimes. It's just basically punching in a load more energy. So yeah, not an issue. At the end of the day, when the sun goes down, that will come back down to around about 13.2, 13.3. If it starts getting below 13.1 down to 13 straight, we tend to not charge overnight because it's more important that the fridge has enough power. But there's plenty of solar here in Australia. The sun's out a lot, which is good. And on the roof to power it, we've got a 200 watt solar panel as well. Moving above, we've got some storage at the top, which is where most of my clothes live just here. Vicky has got her whale that lives up here. And then we've got, these are wrap coats just in case it is really cold and we want something a lot warmer. Maybe we go for a hike up a mountain or something. And then we've got bedding basically. And that kind of very nicely brings us onto the actual bed itself and how it all works and how it's made up. So I'm actually sitting on it. It is the sofa. You've got to be multi-purpose useful when you're living in a small space like this. So I'll show you how it works. Okay, so with the bed itself, there is like these slots that it sits on, and they stop it from folding back down on itself. I'll point those out to you first, and then I'll show you the bed folded up and how that works. So down the side here, we've got this one over here is one slot that the end of the bed down here sits on when it folds up. We've got another one just here, which is quite a big one. That's the middle of the bed sits. And then over this side just here, we unclip this one, and then these actually have like a leg rest for the rear passenger, the Delicas do. But we fold that down and put this underneath it, and effectively that acts as the final resting point for this edge of the bed just down here. So once you've got that end point down here set up with that little bottle under it so that you've got all 3 points for the bed to sit on, you pretty much just do this. Pillows themselves come forward, this one comes down here, this one goes up here, lift up, fold out, push it down into place, bring this over, and then shut the curtains because you don't want people looking in when you go into bed. This one folds down the back like that, and then the pillows go up this end, and that's pretty much it. You got your bed. in terms of size for the bed, this is me lying right in the middle of it, and I am about 5'10". I've got just enough space down here for my feet and just enough space up here. It's a bit tight with 2 people if it's a hot night. Usually someone becomes very well acquainted with the kitchen work surface just here or the edge of the van over here. But yeah, with 2 people it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. It's totally doable. And it's quick and easy. That was the main thing for us. When we were looking at living in the van full time, we were like, do we have a permanently set up bed, or do we have a bed that is a sofa and then we have to change it every night? And we thought, if we have a permanently set up bed, that's going to take up a lot of space that potentially could be useful for just having space, which you need when there's 2 people in the van. You need room to breathe and room to move around each other. So that's when we decided, yeah, we'll go with the sofa idea, but we'll try and make it as sort of space effective as possible. And that's where we settled on this idea, where it literally just folds up at one end and straight on. And then obviously underneath the bed itself is just all storage and everything. So that's where we put basically everything that we don't want immediate access to, pretty much just lives under there. Underneath the bed itself, we have a toilet in the back corner down there. It's just a very small portable toilet. Basically it's there for kind of complying with a lot of the overnight 24-hour rest stops. They say you have to be self-contained. And one of those obviously requirements is you must have a toilet. So there's our toilet. Vicky's got her bag and stuff down here and spare clothes and things, and I keep my bag. We've got tools up the front just here and spare parts for if the vehicle decides to break, which cars do sometimes. But anyway, that's underneath the bed. That's enough of that. We'll get that back down. It's as easy as just folding it down and then sliding this back in. And then this back pillow goes down the back like that. That one in the middle, and that one at the end just there. And then you can chill out for the day. And then you put it back out and you got a bed for the night. Easy peasy. So there's just a few more things that I wanted to show you guys at the back just here. We've got the skateboards in the corner over here. Obviously gotta have skateboards. And then in behind just here, you've got all the electrical stuff. Over this side just here, we've got this little fold out table which we can use to chop up and things like that on. In behind the fridge you can then access down here once the fridge is out, and there's a bit more storage space just there for flat things. And then when we're cooking we tend to put the stove top just here, and then we've got somewhere to chop up, and we've got another little table that we can bring out. We've got the shelter and the shade over our head of the tailgate. But that's pretty much everything in terms of a general overview of the interior of our van and what we've done to convert it. We will be doing some more in-depth videos for you guys where we'll go through things in a fair bit more detail actually. Stuff like the electrical system, how we've done the roof setup, what modifications we've done to the van for off-roading, and also to make it compliant, because it was a 7-seater originally and now it's only a 2-seater. So there's a whole process involved in getting that done. The final thing for me to say is thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I hope you've learned something today from it and it's helped you out. If it has, we'd love to know. Chuck it down in the comment section below and let us know where or what has inspired you. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you then.